Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG. A visual warm welcome to the bar today. My name is Oladelukwa. You know, the one and only.
I was waiting for
Oh yeah,
the
the one and only.
Okay, my name is
If I-
Tokumbo Ojekunle.
Maybe if before we finish, I tell you what annoying thing that happened yesterday.
Talk about it.
Very annoying. And
Free.
let me-
I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
still
I'm not so bad.
It's information, really.
it's still the boom bar on your boom radio NG, and apart from when these two are going at things that are not so important to you and me,
Yeah.
Wow.
we discuss important things that
Things are actually
that
very,
you and
this
me
thing is very
would like to
important.
hear,
This is
you
very
know.
important.
So it is Monday, the 6th of
6th of
June, the year of our Lord 2022,
In Nigeria.
and we are counting down to the 8th of June here at Boom Radio NG. You know what it is.
What's the plan?
You know what it sounds like.
Like seriously.
Did I say any other thing that mentioned the date of Wednesday? Because tomorrow we will be having here a legend in the building, none other than Joseph Dosu,
Okay.
Olympian
Yeah.
par excellence,
Yes.
amazing human being.
Fantastic.
I heard a lot about him.
Great
Though. It'd be nice to
goalkeeper.
actually meet him.
Fantastic.
So Joseph just is going to be in the building.
With Yomi Opakunle, right?
Yes, with Yomi
Oh,
Opakule
great.
and
Yeah,
yours truly,
I saw
yours
that.
truly in the
I saw
building.
that.
And on Wednesday,
Yeah.
there's an event that he organizes. It's twice a year where he brings Super Eagles players and foreign-based Nigerian players to play with players from his academy. You will find all the stars come through. Obafemi Martins, just name it. Kelechi Iheanacho. A lot of them always want to come to Dosu's games, and he organizes that twice a year. And I think this is the 21st or 22nd edition that is about to pull off.
Wow.
It's lovely.
So that's what it is.
consistency.
So on Wednesday morning, we
Yeah.
will also be there to cover that event and
Okay.
bring to you guys the snippets from that event. So apart from that, apart from trying to steal
I
the Lupo's thunder,
wish though that our leaders and administrators in sports can
Oh, God.
can look at what the Joseph is doing and many others are doing and are paying Nigeria back in positive coins.
well, those are
The
the
Paseros, sorry.
Oh my God.
Pesero,
Oh
you know,
my God.
Yeah. I'm
potato,
sorry.
potato, you
And,
know,
I keep asking you exactly what. the
tomatoes,
name.
tomato,
Oh, okay.
pesero,
Yeah.
you know. Yes. So I'm going to cut Tokumbo short there because
Please do.
I don't want to get started on Nigerian sports issues.
But Wednesday is another good day.
Yes.
Well, now that was where you stopped.
Yes. So again, that's what it is. And but first things first, the most topical thing out there
Yeah.
at the moment is the fact that yesterday a couple of cowards picked a gun or two and went ballistic on innocent
People.
So we want to take a look at that, talk about the feedback from that and the fallout of
the
that.
fallout of that.
And again, we are media practitioners. Collectively in this room, you would have at least combined nothing less than 60 years of experience.
Wow.
Yeah, Tokuma, if we take your 50 plus our own 10.
I know you have been minutes.
From this point on to the end of the show, I zip.
All right.
You can't.
No,
You
but that's
know
what
you
professional broadcasters do.
That's-
They zip. That's what he trained us to do. That's why he has been training people all over the world.
Oh
Zip.
my God.
Zip on live TV and radio. Oh yeah, zip now. Zip.
It's not possible. Nigeria's
Zip now.
Nigeria's problems are to unzip. To unzip.
Unzip anyone. Unzip the dump.
You know, so we also send our condolences, our thoughts and prayers
Yeah.
to all the people in our war. And if time permits, the gun violence in America over in the space of 6 months, they've had close to 300 gun incidents, mass shootings, On the 31st of May, there were at least 6 spread in different parts of America. Yesterday, we were reporting the Chattanooga shooting, and there were 2 other shootings after that. So we need to talk about all of these things, but we will definitely start from home, and Dolupo has the lead as always.
Oh yeah. So basically, everybody, like we said, we're talking about the Owo massacre. I know that there's been a lot of numbers going around. I saw some about 50 people killed, another one 21. Well, nobody has the official figures yet. We really haven't even heard from the security agencies. The last that we heard was from the governor himself, talking about how it has been found out that these people are said not to be Nigerians. And it's sadder. I won't say that it makes any difference though, but this is actually the governor of Ondo State's hometown. So I'm very sure this is very, very, very close to home. This it happened. For people that do not know what we're talking about, so yesterday people went to, it's a Sunday. A lot of Christians go to church on Sunday, and people, as usual, just went to church on Sunday, and they literally just got killed. There was an explosion. It started with an explosion, and then there was just random shootings all through. There's still dozens and dozens of people still in the hospital. There was a video where, honestly, I could not bring myself to continue watching. I couldn't even watch up to 30 seconds of the video. It's sad. It's madness. It's maddening that how we do these things, not because we're Nigerians or because we're special. Like it was talking about the US one, and I put out something, and I'm like that. I don't even think it's just. I think it's just humans losing their humanity at this point, because there's no explanation. Because it's not like you hear. I'm not saying that kidnapping or whatever is. There's nothing you're fighting for. Nobody knows anything. You just go around and just kill people for no just cause. Not saying that killing anybody for any reason makes any sense, but there would even be something people would tie it to. And it's sad because just before we came on the show, we found out that this happened exactly 1 year to the massacre that happened in Igbogbo, if I got that right, Igongon in Oyo State as well. And between that time and this time, my first question is, what has changed?
You know, it's so sad. Just as we started off, we send our condolences to now Ekiti. Many people are
always
down.
in Ondo.
Ondo, sorry, thank you. Many people are down, really down now, counting the losses and all.
Mm-hmm.
But the question I've always asked is, where did we miss it? When we were growing up, it was almost like a taboo seeing dead corpses on the road or sighting dead corpses. You just couldn't, you know. I know it was all about, sometimes animals get hit by cars randomly and all. But here we see people now reenacting the Bravo we watched in terrible video films. The Bravo of a man with a gun and gunning somebody else down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe these guys didn't know that it was all scripts. They thought it was live. I think we are now facing reality. Thank you. You talked about how we gradually losing our senses of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I would add to it that we have not only lost that, human life is nothing to us anymore. We see blood, it's almost like a daily thing, so we walk past it. I am yet to get an adjective to qualify the insanity, the bravery, the audacity that people would have and walk into a holy place, a church, during the session of a mass, where it is not just being filled by loose animals or goats, but people worshiping God, People praying on a Sunday morning. People who did not bargain for that kind of an exit in life. And you walk into the place with a gun. You know, I play it back and back. It's a gory scene in my head.
With guns.
With guns, okay. And you walk in and you begin to maul people.
Innocent
people. People who are innocent. And I'm imagining that at that point in time, maybe one or two are even kneeling down to pray.
Yeah.
You know, and everything is gone. The flicker. If anybody walks around and says, well, it's just one of those things, then you've got to see the psychiatrist. This has gone beyond becoming one of those things. It's becoming a ritual, so to a performance, and people are now probably engaging in. Yeah, that took place there. I think let's do another one there. And the question is, what are we doing about this? What are we doing about this? How are we going to curb this? Okay. Report said we heard that they came on motorbikes. You know, if the report is right, they came on motorbike. Not one person, not two. How many are they? We don't know. But now they walked into the place with guns, you know, and it's unforgivable. Unforgivable is the word. If anything, I think we are beginning to see the necessity for us as a nation to be very firm on people who do this, who commit these atrocities. Over time, somebody said, haven't we been too loose in answering, in giving them a quick reverb, or arresting them and doing what they just did to other people? Okay? Do we now clap our hands and watch them go, or we are still looking for them or searching for them still? Okay? While people are being counted, bodies are being counted over time. The American issue that you introduced, Shola, maybe quickly, let me tell you, in my mind, I thought we had the intelligence system working, not only in Nigeria, in America as well, where things like this are easily given an early detection, and we can move to either block it, save the situation, or curb the number of people we lose at the end of the day. If we're going to lose anybody. Okay. In Nigeria, do we still have that in operation? Do we have the intelligence? Is anybody listening at all to the harms and the woes going on at the grassroots level? Is anybody listening at all? Do we have ears on the ground? In Lagos, in Nigeria, the Yorubas call them Otelemuye. Otelemuye are people who are walking close to you and you don't even hear their footsteps coming. Do we still have that sense of feel of it? Because if we do, then
so what's happening?
What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening? I dropped for now.
Well, I don't want to toe the same line. Like let's balance things out, and so I'll take another angle to it and say that, for instance, the 9/11 attacks on America, you will find that when it comes to intelligence gathering and when it comes to security, top-notch security network and the security framework, America should be number one in the world. You know, you talk about America, you talk about Russia, you talk about Israel, you know, and the UK, France, Germany, you know, and of course now China. You talk about those kind of countries who have the military might.
Yeah.
So how were these sleeper cells able to
infiltrate these things, you know, that much
and affect America so much to the point where an attack was planned for the Pentagon, which is of course the headquarters of the US
that's true. 9/11 there was an attack on the Pentagon as well.
Some very, very brave Americans on a particular flight actually fought those guys to prevent them from doing what they wanted to do. Who could have said that they didn't have other attacks? You know, they were going to turn planes into missiles. That was their plan. And we all know that aviation fuel is highly combustible. Again, we need to tread carefully. However, that happened. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, with all of that network that they have, it happened.
That still happened.
Innocent lives were lost. And every year there's a memorial to that effect. The World Trade Center came crashing down. People died. So, at times, evil supersedes good. Evil moves at a pace that is faster than any good that you can think of. Evil is always one step ahead. So what security people try to do is to be 2 steps ahead of any evil. But we will not deny that there will be times when there will be a failing of the system. They, again, depending on how these bad people operate, they look for soft targets. They look for low-hanging fruits and everything. Now, feedback from Owo is that Owo is a very peaceful town, and there's not been that much of security presence. But on the flip side, the people who live there have been complaining about an increase in crime. Right? They're talking about an infiltration of drug dealers and users. Now, this attack has been said to be perpetrated by non-locals.
Foreigners.
But if the security people were fully on ground in Owo, then the locals who are perpetrating those crimes, those misdemeanors and everything would have been brought to book, which would have also alerted them to any kind of foreign attack.
Yeah.
Now, there are 1 or 2 people. There's a particular handle on social media, and sadly, I think I saved it on one of my tabs. I'll try to look for the guy who has been tweeting about this terrorist attacks, and whenever they claim it, he tweets it. Whenever they claim an attack, he tweets it. And he talked about an attack in Kogi State.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like it was widely reported by the media.
I don't think it was even reported.
But this person is a non-Nigerian, and he tweeted this thing. He's tweeted about attacks in Yobe, in I think it's Bauchi or Borno, and other parts of Africa. Everything that has to do with these terrorist people, the guy tweets it. But this is it. That is intelligence gathering. That is networking. You get? So, I get what you're saying, but again, we need to use technology. Online, offline presence. Information gathering from the locals. But most especially, we must realize that Nigeria's population and landmass is a big problem. And we are under-policed for the upteenth time at this bar. We are under-policed. There is supposed to be a certain ratio of policemen to citizens. Nigeria doesn't even come close.
We don't even come close.
And we're fighting many wars on many fronts to the point where the Nigerian army is overstretched.
Yeah, because
the
like,
army is now
everybody's
performing
going
the
on
roles
about
of the police.
The army are like, these people are human beings as well.
They are overstretched. They're doing a lot. Sorry, Tokumbo.
Thank you.
You know? So, as we do all of this, it's time to call on the authorities. We know that there was an embargo on employment into the army at some point. We know that even if that was not the case, the number of troops that we have, and when we're talking troops now, we're talking mainly the ground troops, they are not enough. The Nigerian police officers that we have are not enough. Then what type of training are we giving them? And how much are we really investing? Now, I must say kudos, and I'm going to say it, and people are going to come for me, but I'm going to say it. This government has invested a lot in security. The acquisition of the Super Tucanos, the gunships, the choppers, and the drones. But that's not enough.
Okay.
Intelligence gathering seems to be the most important
It
thing.
seems to be, because what's the point of buying all these things if
when you
you're
don't
not
even know where
using
to
properly,
deploy
when
it
to
or
deploy
where,
it
when are
properly?
you going to deploy it? So
Yeah.
again, it behoves you, me, her, to also help out in any way we can. This is our country. We don't have another country. We're not happy with the government. It's true. People should vent the way they are vented. I get it. But solutions are more important to forestall and prevent this.
Yeah.
So, again, look around you in your communities. I'm glad that we're streaming online, so we're not restricted to Lagos. We're talking pan-Nigeria. Look around you. They have suspicious movements. There are people you don't know. And you must help the law enforcement people. Law enforcement, they need to do more. The Nigerian police came up with an app that you're supposed to use to report issues. And in 48 hours, they got over 10,000 fake reports. Some people said they're just checking to see if the thing works.
Are we sure those things that were sent was being sent by well-meaning Nigerians?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
They're not.
Yeah,
They're
not.
not.
They're not well-meaning.
Go ahead.
They're
They're not well-meaning. Why do you want to test if it works?
You know something, Shola. Sorry, Dulubu, I'll take a break so you can talk. The rate at which information moves at the grassroots, right? Somehow, is quite commendable.
Oh yes, it does. It does. I agree with you.
It spreads fast like fire and moves. Now, what or how do people, what would they do to translate that into helping the forces or the police or the army, okay, in making it impactful so that things will be prevented.
It will actually make sense.
Discovering information, critical information at the root level is for us to be able to take proactive measures to stop things or avoid things
in the first place
from happening. That's where I'm going. Because you see, now the truth is coming out. We're hearing gradually that on the local basis, they are saying this, they are saying that. They noticed that all of a sudden there's an influx of foreign faces or people around the town, and beyond. And people are beginning to raise questions. Where are they from? Who are these people? Well, exactly what? Now, on the local basis, on the local intelligence reports are coming. Do we have a system whereby we can readily collect that information? The arms thing, I give kudos to government. Honestly, they have done extremely well, arming the force, buying equipment, doing the fantastic. But what do we do? How do we manage the information? How do we manage the information? Because I'm really worried about that. How do we manage it?
It's very sad. Because it's something that that you tend to say that a few years ago was it's in the north, it's the northern problem, was something that that has been going on a lot in the north, which calls back to remember a lot of people have been coming out to talk about how the our thing seems to be a daily thing. In places like Kaduna, in places like Kano. I don't know if anybody read. Looks like there was something like that in Kogi as well, just yesterday. So
the reports, and although I've not seen any confirmation from the police, there are also reports of a bus that was attacked in Kwara. We saw pictures of 2 victims who looked like they had been shot, and that some people were kidnapped and all of that.
Yeah, so it's just that this is getting a lot of media, which it happens everywhere. We're talking about it, about how after doing a little bit of search, let's juxtapose that to the US, about how pockets of gun violence are being reported. And in the past 2-3 weeks, there has actually been mass shootings every single day. About how maybe a day that you hear about one, there were actually 4. So yes, do those things happen everywhere else? Yes. And the honest truth is that we don't even need the media noise about it. What we need for it to stop, that's the bottom line. If it stops, we don't need.
We must control it.
It's not about putting it in the news or because the honest truth is that what the media is just news. That's the bottom line. But the truth is, something has to be done. I don't want to come every day to come and report bad news. I used to say that when I was younger, that was when I actually hated news. Because news was almost always bad news. And even as the fact that, okay, you're just reporting it, writing these stories, we're human beings. I don't want to write bad news all the time. There are things that, even if you're not there, there are things that it does to your mind.
Yeah.
Like, you get to a point that you literally just blank out things. We
Yeah.
don't want to. When are we going to continue this? Everybody has been blaming the government. It was the PDP government of that one, and then the APC government, and come 2023, even if none of them even coming, if we're not careful, we'll blame the other set of people as well.
Okay, you know something? Recently, just as you pointed out, recently we've had cases of people being being beaten, clubbed to death, right? Because of one issue or the other, particularly over religion.
Okay, yes.
Yeah?
That still happened over the weekend in Abuja.
Yes, Abuja. And we still have cases whereby some of the culprits were caught,
Yeah,
were apprehended.
yeah.
And the next question I'm asking, what happened
What
to them?
happens?
And what does the justice system say in a situation like that? You see, when people see deterrence being made, when people see if a force meeting force, when for the first time these guys who do these things wake up one morning and realize that everybody is now ready to fight them, you know.
But which is the
cool.
issue
They're
that
cool.
I have with, I like what you said, because the issue I have with this okay, what's that? Something is vibrating.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I have an issue with what we call amnesty of terrorists. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm not a soldier. I'm not a security operative.
Okay, amnesty, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
amnesty they say they're giving these people, and how the army is saying that they'll tell you their weekly reports of these things, of how they bring these people in and all these things, and I wonder, like, how is this a deterrent? You literally bring them, you say that you get off their arms, you take their arms from them, and then you rehabilitate them. Why are you rehabilitating people that have killed millions of people, that have
Yeah.
killed thousands of people? How, make it make sense? How you now, how do you integrate that person? Take, for example, you integrate that person, you teach the person goes to school, and then you teach the person, maybe the person becomes, some weird reason, maybe becomes a doctor. How do you integrate that person? How does it make sense to a citizen of Borno State that my doctor used to be someone that killed my family?
You know,
Make it make sense.
This is a very interesting slant you are bringing in. I think in the 89 or so, or 88, I'm trying to remember the particular year, there was a Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa. And the whole idea was to bring people together, unify people, reintegrate people in a culture of owning up to things you've done. And so you had people who had trampled on the freedom of the people, of other people, walked into their homes, killed their parents, killed their families, come out in the courts and look at the relatives of the victims face on and say, for this that happened, I am truly sorry. You know, it was big. Bishop Tutu was in charge, he was chairman. And I remember then that some people said, just say sorry and that's all.
That's all.
And that's all. But what they didn't realize was it permeated down to the culture, to the roots of the country, whereby people now realize that, look, he said sorry. Are you going to kill him after that? And he meant it. They were all very, very sincere about it. Now, coming back to our time, this year, this time, this month, and this day, and this date, we need to let people know that there is a procedure. There's a channel you go through when you are found wanting in a particular, this time it's difficult to accept it. And my father, my mother went for mass, and they didn't come back. I'm not sure how far couples. I don't know if they said they were just got the newly wedded.
Fake story.
Fake story. Okay, that's a fake story.
It's a fake
We're
story.
going to get to that very soon. But the fact is, people died.
A lot of people died.
And when you apprehend people who did ABC to people, what do we do with them? What do we do with them? How do we handle it? There should be something something must take its course. If they say, yeah, justice must take, okay, justice, you line them up. And what happens? You take them to court, right? People are now saying, yeah, if you don't do something, we take laws into our hands.
And that becomes worse.
So, I've listened with rapt attention, and I'm really, really impressed with the fact that we're all basically agreeing on something that is so dastardly and needs to be changed.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get tired of saying this, and I know I'm not the only one that believes this. I've heard you guys also say it. But again, I'm going to say it again because, at times there's a new person watching or a new person listening. I think we need special courts. I believe in the rule of law. I believe that the Constitution is supreme. But I believe that everybody should have their day in court. However, the process of having that day is what I do not agree with. The status quo. I do not agree with the current way things are done.
Okay.
So we need special courts because we prefer solutions. Why do we need a special court? You need a special court that is going to handle the case of the guys who killed that innocent lady for alleged blasphemy. Those guys have been arrested. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, some of them.
By now, their court case should be concluded. You know why? Because the special court has a short time to sit and deliberate. The only time it will be expanded for fairness is if the defense or prosecution require or request additional time, which will also be within a limited time scope. So that's why we need a special court. We need a special court that's going to handle the case of the alleged stealing of 170 billion naira by the Attorney General, Accountant General. The Accountant General.
Alleged, you said.
Alleged. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
There was the initial 80 billion and an additional 90. So what we're saying is that we need a special court. We don't want the court that tells you can't hold him more than this period. You can't do this and you can't do that. Because this is a peculiar
Because the truth is,
to us.
I agree, because by the time for you to even take that kind of case to court, you as the prosecution should have done your homework before even arresting him in the first place. So you have all the evidence against him from the get.
Okay, so we need to treat justice promptly too.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Firm and prompt about it.
Yeah.
Hence
so
the idea of a special court.
Totally.
Why do we even need a special court though? What happens
Go
to
ahead first. You go ahead.
the courts we have now not wasting time?
Okay, so the reason why I'm suggesting a special court, which is a good question that you asked, is that the courts we have now, they are mainly run by the existing laws, which to me are mostly archaic and out of tune with the times. They are run mostly by laws that are no longer relevant in certain instances.
Yeah.
Like for instance, there is a certain amount of money that the judge can award you in certain cases. And with the devaluation of the naira and other inflation index and indices that have been brought into what we do and where we live, you will find that that's why some people would be corrupt and they will not run, they will not hide. They would have studied the law to the point where they know that this is the maximum amount that they can be asked to pay back or pay over a certain period of time.
Okay.
So, but with a special court, there's a new law that takes into cognizance this. Why I'm saying that is that it will be virtually impossible to get the assembly as constituted with the judiciary to come up with this upgrade that we require.
Okay.
But if we create a special court for, we've had it in the past, but it's always under the military major.
I was going to say that, Shola.
But those were created by decrees.
I was going to say that.
Those courts were created by decrees.
What laws?
Do you understand? So, but now you have to because this is a civilian dispensation and a democratic setting. You need a law that backs everything that you do.
Everything that you do. Yes.
So create a law for special offenses, financial, terrorist, and something act that basically covers all of these things that we're talking about. Because if you are going to, they will tell you there's this gestation period. There's this no, the special offenses court. In fact, the way I see it, again, it helps with prison decongestion. Because
we had a tribunal in that format before.
Under
Special
the military.
Tribunal.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying create a special court now under this democratic setting that we are in, that would not only sit on extra days, even on Sundays. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even on Saturdays, so that a case, then again, adjournment will be limited. You cannot adjourn beyond a certain period. The reason why you're doing that is that you want to instill confidence in the populace, in the people, to see that, oh, do you remember that policeman that was arrested for extortion?
In a few days' time,
his case comes up tomorrow. Oh, when was he arrested? Last week. His case comes up tomorrow. Within the space of 7 days, it's conducted. If, for instance, we had a special
court,
legal contraption created for NSAS, and that committee sat over several cases, some cases that the courts had not settled, they were able to do it.
They were able to move on from it.
You get, and they recommended compensations where it was necessary at various values to the victims or their families. That shows the creation of a special court in court. But now let it be standard. Let it be something. Like, for instance, the case of extortion by men in uniform is on the increase. But if they knew that there was a special court that would expedite action on their hearing, as long as you have been arrested, you will be discharged from the military, from the police, then you go as a civilian to appear in front of this court. When they see that it's been done to a couple of people, you see, I always know that enforcement is our problem. But before you can enforce now, you need the legal backing to do it. So it might sound also harebrained, but if you listen quietly, you will understand that we need to instill confidence in the people, in the populace, in people like you and me who have lost a lot of hope in the system. That it looks like at times the system is protecting people, but it's not that it's protecting them. It's that it's a law that was put there for fairness sake. But fairness has changed.
It's subjective.
Yes. So it has changed in the sense that we talk now and say, oh, this person did something, but you have to put alleged there until you have proven that the person has committed the crime.
That's what democracy taught us.
Exactly. So if you taught us that, can you now also move with the times to realize that things are changed to the point where you need to expedite action? Justice delayed is justice denied. Why are some cases lasting 4 or 5 years? A guy who there's damning evidence.
20, 25 years languishing in detention.
Yes, you're right. There's a guy who there's damning evidence against that he's been kidnapping people for years. He was arrested here in Lagos State. And he's still alive, he's still in prison, there's nothing happening. Maybe they'll call his case once every 6 months. It shouldn't be. There should be a 3 or 6 month cap. There should be a 6 weeks cap for certain
6 weeks.
So that within that short period, again, this helps with prison decongestion. This also helps build confidence in the system by the people. When the people see that, no, don't worry, the way the court moves now, this case will be sorted out. Some people will tell you now that, don't worry, you want to go to court. Don't worry. You will frustrate you. And you will find that maybe you are on the right. You're the one that sued them. 6, 7, 8 years after, you are still going to court.
Oh, yes. Wait, shall I? Well said, well said. You see, the thing is, I'm so happy you landed on the part of when we take decisions, when we act accordingly, well, with all speed and alacrity, as we are told in the military, and alacrity, people will begin to sit up that the honeymoon is over.
It is.
We have given the impression over time that you can do anything you like and get away with it. That's not what Nigeria is for. That was not the intentions of the founding fathers. That was not, and it will never remain. We've got to be seen to be very, very proactive. In those days, way back, you go into a house and pilfer or steal, you are dealt with immediately. There's somebody telling you straight you are going to the barless court. When you get to the barless court, they are not taking you to the courts. You are going to face the local court, and you did it. Yes, you did it. They will serve you. They will serve you. We have to get back to that. So the children coming, the generations coming after us, we know that as a nation, don't don't just do what is not expected of you. Over time, that's the way Africa should be. That's the way Africa should be. Democracy from the yonder, okay, should be readdressed though. Don't ask me how. I don't know how. Democracy should be readdressed. It's not fun. Look, I'm very sad about this thing.
I get what you're saying.
I'm very, very sad about this thing. I'm saddened. It's not right. It's not right.
I just hope that
right now we're still looking for those more people, right? Are we right? Our issue is a tattered story. Is a tattered story. The Pope also said something about it. In the church, Catholic mass going on. How do I explain that to generations coming?
I have an issue with the fact that I've been hearing a lot of things. People talk about this, and I've been talking about how it's very abominable why they came into a church and all that. I'm like, what happened? What if it was a mosque? What of the people that they were in their homes in Igogon, people on their farmlands? It makes no difference. A church is just a building. I'm not talking about you, generally. I'm just saying that a lot of people have been going on about it's a church. Can I respond to that? I'm like,
can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
Statistically, we can't be sure, but we are rumored to be about 200 million Nigerians.
Yeah.
And of the 200 million Nigerians, we're very religious people.
Oh yeah, we are.
And a lot of people put their religion above every and anything. True. Do you understand? So because of this, we all need to be tolerant, and we understand that, oh, this person, is a Muslim, is a Christian, is an atheist, is agnostic.
Oh yeah, kind of that.
Say again. Now, so because we are maybe liberal, doesn't mean that the non-liberal person, will agree with you or see it the way you say it.
Yes.
So a lot of us are very religious, and we believe the sanctity of these buildings as being beyond the structure. We see it as heaven. We see it as our sanctuary. We see it as our go-to place. So you will find that. Let me tell you guys a very funny story. So growing up in Surulere, we're living in one place called Dipolubi a couple of years ago. I was already grown anyway, but we had an incident of a break-in our entire street. So they were going from house to house, and they went to my friend's house, Aliu Gufe. And Aliu is half Hausa, half Yoruba. And he had an uncle who was an Alfa. He was a very, very religious man, a very, very strong Islamic scholar. And they were going to their house, and the house is like face me, I face you, the way it was designed.
Okay.
So the man heard all the commotion, so opened his doors, left his doors open, and when they got there, they wanted to break it, but they saw that the doors was open, and the place was dark. The man said, "Come in." There's like, no. The one now shouted, "It's the Alpha's room. Don't enter. It's the Alpha's room." And the guy said, "Come in, calmly," because Aliu's room is next door to the man, but there's an adjoining door that separates them, which was locked. Said the man was just saying quietly, "Come in." And the thieves that came with guns and knives and machetes
you don't want to come. You
did
don't want
not
to
go into an Alpha's room because they felt it was like maybe they believed that there was some level of reverence that they have to give the guy or fear.
Or it was fair.
It was fair.
Do you get?
It's fair.
So they are thieves and they are thieves, but some also have beliefs. So a lot of people who have those kind of beliefs will also say, oh, this is a holy ground. So there are some thieves that will tell you, oh, they're not going to go to that place. But some thieves will tell you, that's the place to rob. There was a time when churches were experiencing break-ins in Lagos.
Yes, yes.
Do you understand? They will
Yes.
go steal equipment, steal money.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Those ones didn't care about how reverent or how reverent you hold the place. They just wanted to get their money, which is their money in quotes, yeah? So
The money they forgot.
the level of reverence that we hold differs from person to person, knowledge to knowledge, exposure to exposure. So that's why people are saying that a church is the same way. If you had witnessed this in a mosque, trust me, you'll find a lot of people saying in a mosque. We were outraged
Yeah,
last
that's what I'm
week.
saying. When everybody goes on about
No,
it,
they
I'm like,
have to, because that's their belief. That is their mini heaven. That is their
it
go-to
doesn't
place.
make the life of the person that was killed on a farmland.
No, that's not the issue.
It doesn't make it less.
No, that's not the issue.
No.
It's not about
Okay.
the value. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
It is just that when people go that far, you find that they are despicable animals. That's what they're saying. Like in America, you are not allowed to bring a firearm into an hospital. And
Yeah.
all this while that things have been
and they did.
all this one that things have been
Yeah.
all this one that things have been happening, it never happened in an hospital. You understand? But what did they do? They went to an hospital. Because people were saying, oh, they never do it in an hospital. These mad people went there. The other time, what was it? It was a church.
It was a church.
The other time, where was it? It was a mosque. All in America.
Then they
At
went
some
to
point,
schools.
they went to schools. Then they went to supermarkets. So they're basically trying to demystify everything and whatever that. Oh, you think this can happen in this place? Then we're going to do it only for that reason. Because they're all sick people. So for people to say in a church in Nigeria, it is a big deal. That's the way people say, oh, in a mosque.
It is, yeah,
It is a big deal.
Sorry, Shoga. I was waiting for you to end up. Because, no, it is a big deal. You started by, you caused their emotions to question. Guys have lost emotions. They
That's
don't
it. So
have
that's what I'm
any
saying. That
soul
it has
anymore.
nothing to do with. I feel that
No,
it has
that
nothing
is
to
the
do
reaction
with
we are
church.
now talking
or,
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I feel that every people that do this, they're horrible people. Even if he was on the road or whatever, it's the same thing.
Oh,
the fact
yes.
that you're taking someone's life.
Oh, yes.
The fact that for whatever reason, which I don't think that taking anybody's life is justifiable. So that's where I'm coming from. Like, don't let us make it about religion, because like you said, we're very religious. If you're not careful, this can spiral into something else and become a religious thing. That's where I'm coming from. And wow, we're like almost out of time, but still talking about things spiraling and out of time. Let's move a little bit quickly from this, and let's talk about a few things. We know that one of the major things.
I'd like to suggest, if you don't mind, that we do not talk about the media thing yet. Maybe until Wednesday, where we can actually make it our main focus, because we don't have enough time, and we had already put in our headline that we're talking about the APC presidential primaries.
Oh, okay.
Is today?
Yes, it is. It's supposed to start today.
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
it's supposed to start today. So yeah, okay. If that was what I was going to.
But can I just hang this?
Okay, please.
If you are a writer or an online influencer, and all you do is carry stories or rewrite stories, make sure that you are doing it with your utmost sense of responsibility. A single line could turn a whole country upside down.
Yeah.
A single line could cause a death of an aged mother overnight, just because you are careless. And please, when you report, do not analyze. Leave your thoughts out of the story. Report a story and take a walk. That's just
This is a teaser to
we can talk about
our
it
discussion
later. Yes.
on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Regardless of what happens, we're
Yes.
going to focus on reportage and all of that. Reading a story from Vice President Yemi Oshibajo's Facebook page, he said, "I am fine. I was on my way to Ondo, you know." He was on his way to Owo. I was going to the airport to fly to Akure and drive to Owo when they witnessed an accident and they stopped to help. Do you get? But some media outlets because there are media outlets. This morning, one of my friends put something on her status, and I said to her, no, there was actually an explosion before gunshots were fired. She said, no, that the media did that. I just replied, okay, because I was trying to inform her or educate. But
what happened?
so I get it. The media is always at the receiving end, but every time it's not Tokunbo that said it. It's not Dolupo. It's not Shola. But it's because some people, even some usurpers and whatever, they done this, and we bear the brunt. So we're gonna call you guys out, and that's what we're gonna do.
Oh yeah. Quickly, the APC Presidential Primaries is officially starting tomorrow. It was said, I just found out today. I thought it was starting today, but because it said 6 to 8. So today is supposed to be the arrival. And today we've seen that a lot of presidential aspirants are in Owo. As we speak, a lot of people have left Abuja, had landed in Abuja, they've been in Abuja for a while, had to leave and went to commiserate with the governor and the people of Owo. A few people, we've seen a lot of stories coming from a few places. The presidential aspirant for the APC, one of them, Bola Tinubu, had donated 50 million naira for the hospital bills and every other thing that the victims need, and another 25 million naira for the Catholic Church in Ondo State and all that. But we know that the presidential primaries is starting tomorrow, and I think it's the last set of presidential primaries before the deadline for INEC. And there's been a lot of back and forth, people stepping down. Over the weekend, the president meeting with southern governors. As we speak, it has been reported that the president also